available in high definition.
The NASCAR Canadian Tire Series is back in Canada's heartland. And today, some of Canada's best racers will battle for 200 laps in the Full Throttle 200.
The nation's top racing tour has crisscrossed the country, entertaining fans with some good old oval track racing. This is where the action can get really close. And with road races at Mosport, Edmonton, and Montreal, speed and heroics have been the name of the game. Canada's top racers have vying to put their name on this year's NASCAR Canadian Tire Series trophy. But one man stands out from the rest. Scott Steckley has simply amazed. The number 22 driver brings an impressive points lead to Mosport for round number 8 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio from the Half Mile Speedway near Bowmanville, Ontario. This is the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200. Hello and welcome. I'm Dave Bradley. Alongside me is Billy Rouse Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, last week in Montreal, the 27 of Andrew Ranger finally won a race in the province of Quebec.
And a packed house went wild, Dave. You know, the homeboy, he chased J.R. Fitzpatrick the whole race, hounded him, in fact. But in the last corner, going underneath the white flag, J.R. opened up a little bit on the bottom slip, and the 27 pounced on the opportunity.
Not only that, later on in the day, he and a number of other stars of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series put on quite a show in the rain in the Nationwide Series. But back here to an oval at Mosport Speedway, really the talk of the town has been Scott Steckley. Comes into this one with a 146-point cushion over Don Thompson Jr.
Isn't that something? It's a broken record. We've been talking about the kid all year long. He's consistent, he's smooth, he's prepared. But it's what it is. It's communication between the crew chief and the driver. And you know what? Goes back to the shop. They're prepared. That car has not failed once this season.
Believe it or not, he has an average finish of 1.85 through the first 7 races of this season. That's phenomenal. But back here as well, we talk about another man who's been dominant in the last 10 years here at Mosport, and that man also second in points to Scott Steckley. He's standing by with Todd Lewis. Todd?
That's right, guys. Qualifying rained out. Don Thompson Jr. will start on the outside of row number 1. Donnie, you've had a lot of success at this place. Is this a good opportunity for you to make some gains in the championship standings?
Well, we hope so. You know, Scott's pretty good here, too. Car wasn't bad in practice. We'll see if the Home Hardware Chevy can win this thing.
Well, the guys had limited practice. Qualifying rained out, of course. We'll see if Don Thompson Jr. and the Home Hardware Chevy can make up some ground. Green flag when we come back to Mosport.
Round number 8 of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200, is brought to you by Castrol Syntec. Unlock the power. By Mopar, authentic performance. And by Duplicolor, the premium brand leader in automotive paints, primers, and coatings. And Mandy Baker just finishing up the anthems. Now we send it down to Bill McFarland from Dickies, Canada, with those all-important words.
Let's give them the words we've been waiting to hear. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Points leader Scott Steckley is who they'll be chasing. Right behind him, Don Thompson Jr. in the Home Hardware Chevy. And Don Thompson Jr. had the fastest car in practice. We'll see if he can take advantage of it early. And DJ Kennington, this Castrol Dodge has been tight all season long. DJ and Dave White make some drastic changes to the setup, hoping it'll be faster to get them out front.
Well, DJ and Whitey, they were throwing spring shocks, sway bars, everything in that race car this morning, trying to make sure they can get all that Dodge horsepower to the ground.
And we'll ride on board with the 77 Allied Steel Buildings Dodge of Derek Lynch. They just bolted in a new power plant. Let's see where he and the rest of the 21 starters line up here in the Duplicolor starting grid. Of course, we line up via points. Scott Steckley and Don Thompson Jr. make up the front row. And then there's DJ Kennington, last week's winner, Andrew Ranger. Row number 3 brings us Kerry Mix in the 02 BDI Ford and J.R. Fitzpatrick driving a Dodge here today. Row number 4 is Peter Gibbons back in his familiar Chevrolet number 1, Mark Dilley in the number 9. Then row number 5 has Derek Lynch in the 77 and Brad Graham in the 19. Row 6 is Dave Whitlock in the Dickies Dodge, the 39, Alex Tagliani, the rookie, in the 7. And then row number 7 has John Gunn in the 12. He too changed motor after practice. And then Jason Hathaway in the 3. Ron Beauchamp Jr. and Jason White make up row number 8. And then we look back to row number 9 with Ken Noon in the 18 and the rookie Anthony Simone in the 95. Row number 10 has the 10 of Doug Brown and Jim Lapsovich in the 25. And starting shotgun on the field, the 56 of Joey McComb. Now there is rain in the area, some pretty ominous clouds circulating around Mosport Speedway, but so far it is dry and it looks like we will have a window to get this race in.
And a good race it's going to be, Dave. We're going to give a shout out to Ron Beauchamp Jr. He's reunited. We're on board with Ronnie. He's reunited this week with Chris Cuvion, his crew chief from last season, and they're looking to rekindle that performance.
And Billy will take a look at the Allied Steel Buildings race analysis.
And it is a 200-lap race here. It's a half-mile oval. Each end's a little different as turn one's kind of tricky downhill. But Don Thompson Jr. has dominated this place in the past.
And as we mentioned, the weather is a little bit iffy. With more on today's race, here's Todd.
It'll be a race of unknowns, fellas, for some of these teams. They made changes to the setups from practice. They don't know how they'll work. We also don't know how long the weather will hold out. We get to halfway, we're official. It may change some of the pit strategies as this race goes along.
Well, Todd, you're so right. The crew chiefs are going to be on top of the box watching a couple different things. Number one, how's the car working? Number two, where's the rain at? You know, normally we try and pit a little bit early to get that track position, so now you're the rabbit being chased. But today, we're going to chase the weather, and there's going to leave nothing on the table. It's going to be go time right from lap one.
And tires for the start of this race really won't be a question. Everybody rolling out on sticker tires. Qualifying was rained out, so Isaiah Zettler, a 10-year-old from Waterloo, up in the stand. He's got the green flag, and he's waving it. We're underway here in the full throttle 200.
Don Thompson Jr. on the outside going into turn one, trying to get the jump on Scott Steckley. He washes up the racetrack, and Steckley's going to take the lead.
How tough is it to stick on this track, a green racetrack, and difficult in corner number one as well?
Well, you got to turn one, you got to be right down to the bottom, and nobody knows that more than Don Thompson Jr., so he had to give it up to the 22 of Scott Steckley.
And Scott Steckley crossing the line first, so he will pick up 5 all-important bonus points to stretch his lead in the Castrol points chase. As you see a good battle for 5th there between the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick and the 02 of Kerry Mix.
And as we talked about the inside being the preferred line in 1 and 2, 3 and 4, you can use the outside here. And J.R. Fitzpatrick's looking for big things this week. That car has been over to Junior Hanley's, getting some attention from the master.
Yeah, he's really only had it out once, and it goes for a big wash up the racetrack. But J.R. Fitzpatrick grabs a handful of wheel and a footful of throttle and keeps it going, but still on the outside now the number 1, Peter Gibbons, but he really didn't lose that much.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, he can drive a loose race car, and he's not afraid of the throttle pedal.
So still in a dice for 6th spot now with Peter Gibbons. J.R. Fitzpatrick trying to hold on the outside. I was going to mention that he's really only had that Dodge car at once at Barrie Speedway a lot earlier this year, and that didn't go as planned at all.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, that is a DJ Kennington car from last year. That car has had some success, but it's a little different than what DJ's used to.
Now 7th spot up for grabs. First look at Mark Dilley in the number 9 Dodge, as he ducks underneath the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick and the 19 full throttle Dodge Avenger of Brad Graham down pit lane, and it looks like a flat left rear tire.
Wow, that'll put the Graham car 2 laps down.
So the battle still up near the front. Now the 77 of Derek Lynch gets underneath the 84 for 8th spot, and now J.R. Fitzpatrick finally finds that hole to get down to that inside line.
Well, JR now needs to just find his rhythm and settle in and get to figure out what this car is going to need, so when it comes down the pit road, the crew chief can make the needed adjustments.
The 02 of Kerry Mix underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. He's going to take away 4th spot in the Beyond Digital Imaging Ford Fusion. But here comes Ranger back underneath.
Well, that's a good battle. Those guys have had some, serious history on the road courses, and young Ranger's doing really well. Hey, DJ Kennington down to the bottom of the 4 car.
The Castrol Syntec Dodge number 17 for 2nd spot underneath the Home Hardware number 4 of Don Thompson Jr. But Thompson is hanging on the outside. Now he slips back a little bit, but he's still there. We're right on board with Kennington.
Well, it's obvious that the changes that Dave White and DJ made to that car this morning are really working, because that thing went around the hook like nobody's business. That man, Don Thompson Jr., is the master in turn 1 and 2, and DJ put it on him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as we talked off the top of the show, he really is the master of Mosport. He's really had the number of this track for the last really 10 years. He's been able to dominate here. Now Kerry Mix taking advantage of the 4 car. He'll jump up to 3rd spot as Mix drops a wheel to the inside of the track to get that car to turn.
Oh, Dougie Brown, he's caught up down that wet grass on the inside of the racetrack.
The Haldex number 10 of Dougie Brown goes around. He grabs a gear. He's going to drop at least a lap, and he gets going. No caution yet.
Side by side, that's the 02 of Kerry Mix and Don Thompson Jr. holding tight in that outside lane.
There is the Centennial Dodge number 12 of John Kahn alongside the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the 60, and that new motor in the 12 car seems to be working early on.
Well, we'll go on board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. Let's go for a little tour here. Down the backstretch, that car looked pretty good.
And Andrew Ranger also ducking underneath the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. for 4th spot, so possibly trouble for Don Thompson Jr., or is he just taking it easy this early in the race?
Well, Don Thompson never takes it easy. No, he's a racer at heart, goes full bore, but you got to remember, we practiced yesterday. It rained hard. It took all the rubber off the racetrack. These guys started with fresh tires. Oh, another, the 56 of Joey McComb around backwards.
The Lucas Oil Apex Raceway Dodge of Joey McComb goes around. This will draw the caution. You can see some damage to the screens of the Dodge Avenger as possibly a little argument a little bit further back between J.R. Fitzpatrick and the 10 of Dougie Brown, but there is your leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley. Welcome back to Mosport Speedway and round number 8 of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. Scott Steckley and the Castrol points leader leads here in the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200 as we get set for restart number 1 here on lap 25.
Well, you see DJ hard on the throttle up through the gears down the front stretch. See that car move around? That's how softly sprung these race cars are.
Andrew Ranger got up to the back bumper. The 02 of Kerry Mix as well might have nudged him a little bit, but now the 17 of DJ Kennington drops in behind the 22 tow truck in a box Dodge Avenger of Scott Steckley.
Wow, great racing up front there. Andrew Ranger doing another good job on the ovals here at Mosport.
Fighting for position is the 9 of Mark Dilley underneath the 1 of Peter Gibbons. These two have been racing side by side for so many years, as Gibbons will let Dilley have it this time, and now he gets up to the back bumper. He sees that hole opening. He wants to go with him as Dilley ducks underneath the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. for 5th. Looks like Thompson's going to hang on the outside, but here comes the Leland Industries Dodge Avenger of Mark Dilley once again.
Drag race down the backstretch. Dodge against Chevrolet. The Dodge is going to take the spot. And here comes Peter Gibbons down that number 1 Chevrolet. He's strong on the bottom as well.
Billy, we've talked about this at different tracks as well. You can see the tires on the inside dropping off to the inside of the raceway, helping the cars turn a little bit.
What that does, Dave, is it loosens the car up. When you drop the tire off the racetrack, it puts wedge in the car and allows you to drive harder off the corner.
As we look back to the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick, now we ride on board.
Down the front stretch in the big black Dodge into turn 1, hard on the brakes. Down to the bottom, you can see him cranking on the wheel. The thing's not turning the middle, it's pushing like a dump truck, as they say.
Second spot now for the 02 of Kerry Mix in the BDI Ford Fusion. He'll relegate the Castrol Syntec number 17 Dodge Avenger of DJ Kennington to 3rd spot. Still everybody chasing the 22 of Scott Steckley. There you see him just going into your screen.
Well, Kerry Mix, the 02, just doing a monster task today. All week long, he's been working long hours to get that car rebuilt. Plus, he's got a little bit of the flu. Yeah,
because you remember back at Vernon, Sun Valley Speedway, the last time we raced on an oval, he got in hard up into the wall and pretty much rode off the front end of that race car.
Well, Dave, the boys told me it was front and rear clips. They worked 12, 14-hour days. But you got to remember, it was only a short time ago that we referred to Kerry as an Ironman, and he's an old-school racer. He is an Ironman.
Yeah, this now a battle for 8th spot as we ride on board with Dave Whitlock looking back to the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. Started outside of the front row, but has been slipping back.
Oh, listen to the RPMs of the motor. They right up 8,000 RPM down the straightaway and then hard brake on into the corner.
It's interesting to hear him too. He eases it into one corner, but then there is a hard braking at the other end.
Yeah, it's all about each racetrack has its own characteristic, and they have to be hard on the gas or hard on the brake, depending on how the car wants to enter the corner.
And of course, something new this year, you can log on to NASCAR.ca and vote for your favorite driver of the series. Kind of cool.
Vote often and vote lots. Scott Steckley has got my vote for being the most popular driver this year. The quiet man from Milverton getting the job done.
And that tow truck in a box Dodge Avenger has been stout at each and every track we run. And you can see the gap back to the 2nd position. And the 02 of Kerry Mix. As Scott Steckley has stretched out about a 3-second lead here still in the early going in the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200. And Mark Dilley has jumped up to 2nd as DJ Kennington slides back. And the 0-2 of Kerry Mix into third.
Young Andrew Ranger, once that door was open on the bottom of DJ Kennington, he's going to try and get that 27 Fusion into that spot as well, but DJ's able to hold him off.
The Walmart-tied Ford Fusion of Andrew Ranger, last year's champion in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, a little crossways off of corner number 4, but he bites that right rear into the asphalt. He gets a good run into corner 1. He's going to take that spot.
Well, DJ Kennington just sitting there now. He's going to just sit in and ride and communicate to Dave White, his crew chief, what changes he'd like to see in that race car when they do come to pit road.
So Scott Steckley continues out front, unchallenged here in the tow truck in a box number 22 as we continue under green here in the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200. Welcome back to an overcast day here at Mosport. The 22 tow truck in a box Dodge Avenger of Scott Steckley leads round number 8 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio here on TSN.
Well, we've run almost 60 laps. Not bad for a green racetrack and only one caution. These guys are putting on a whale of a show. But now it's all about communication. What's the race car doing? What's it going to do in the next 40 laps? And they got to start talking to the crew chief so they can make the adjustments on the pit stop.
Really, what is a guy like Scott Steckley going to tell his crew chief what he wants in that race car? He's out by almost 3 seconds over the 9 of Mark Dilley. What more does he need?
Well, let me see. Stereo, air conditioning. The car is so good, he's just on cruise control. My God, it's just so nice to see a race car work that well, but the rest of the field not really enjoying the show.
And you see the 0-2 of Kerry Mix going by the 7 of Alex Tagliani, apparently Tag not happy with the way that car's been handling all through practice. Now Tag has gone 2 laps down, so he's really fighting a ill-handling race car.
Now we're on board with Derek Lynch. See his hands a little bit loose up off the corner. He had to turn the wheel back to the right as Gibbons went by.
6th spot for Peter Gibbons. Now as the Allied Steel Buildings number 77 of Derek Lynch drops down into 7th spot, but Lynch not going away. Hey, look, there's the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock in there too.
Well, we've been watching these Whitlock Motorsports cars all year, and they've been having terrible, terrible luck. Now, Dilly's running up front. Whitlock's in the top 10. Things are pretty good at Mosport for the Whitlock camp.
Absolutely. There is Ron Beauchamp Jr., huge gaggle of cars, and there is your leader working through heavy, heavy lap traffic. Scott Steckley now up to the back bumper, the Full Throttle number 19 of Brad Graham, but running second is Mark Dilley, and standing by with his crew chief is Todd.
Reno Marks had a real charge today. How's he feeling in the car?
He feels great. That number 9 Dodge is pretty stout right now. He's just biding his time and taking it easy, saving it for the end here.
Well, that's a pretty good guy to have on your pit box. Reno has won 2 track championships himself here at this racetrack, and I believe Mark Dilley's won here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's no slouch. He hasn't won since Riverside of last year in the Canadian Tire Series, but so he's definitely due.
Oh, there's a good look at his hands. Look how steady his hands are on the steering wheel, Dave. He turned it all the way in left, never had to turn it back until he was coming off the corner. That's a good handle on a race car.
How much can a driver tell the way the car is handling by the sound of the throttle as well?
Well, it's not about the sound, it's how much throttle you can give it. The more throttle you can give it off the corner, you know it's working good then.
The 77 of Derek Lynch goes around in the 1 of Peter Gibbons, slides up the racetrack, and he heads back to 9th spot. So trouble for the Canadian Tire number 1 Chevy of Peter Gibbons.
And up front, Scott Steckley just keeps setting them down and putting more cars a lap down. That was the 12 of John Gaunt just going down a lap.
And Gaunt is in 13th spot, so not having that bad of a day, but that's how good of a day Scott Steckley is having. As you see, Mark Dilley still chasing the tow truck in a box number 22. Now, though, within striking distance.
Well, Scott Steckley, really patient driver. We've talked about it before. Took his time going through the lap cars. That allowed Mark to catch up, and Mark's doing a great job getting through traffic, and Simone did a good job by pulling down and getting out of the way.
Anthony Simone in the Crown Modular number 95 as the Interstate Batteries number 18 Pontiac of Kent Noon comes along pit road, and they've been fighting that car all weekend long too as Whitlock slides in 1 and 2, and here comes Jason Hathaway in the Snap-on Dodge.
Well, Dave Whitlock got into turn 1 just a little hot, and the brake balance wasn't just, and he gets moved back up the racetrack by the 3.
7th spot now for the 3 of Jason Hathaway as Whitlock will slot back 1, but great racing all around the track here with 108 laps to go. Here the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200. That man, the 22, Scott Steckley, is your leader, and look who he's coming up to lap. The number 4 of Don Thompson Jr.
Don Don Thompson Jr. being very respectful, pulls down to the bottom and allows the faster leader to the top side. Very respectful. Don Thompson, a true champion, giving the 22 car lots of room.
And he is in 11th spot, so again, another driver just kind of hanging on till the first pit stop and hopefully going to make some adjustments on that race car as we ride on board with Don Thompson Jr.
Well, you can tell it's not the motor. There's lots of RPM down the straightaway. That car is just not handling the way Donnie likes it.
Did you see the way Steckley was able to get the power to the ground and open up a gap on the 4 car?
It was almost an instant 2 car lengths. Just an awesome performance.
And the 84 and 25, the 17 of DJ Kennington in there. The 84, of course, J.R. Fitzpatrick, Jim Lapsevich. And the 17 of DJ Kennington in 5th spot. 84 and 25, both a lap down.
Boy, when's the last time you've seen Peter Gibbons go down a lap under green? And there's Ron Beauchamp Jr., a strong runner as well. He's about to go a lap down.
And Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the Mopar Dodge has just gotten around the number 1 of Peter Gibbons, but one driver has been struggling all day long is the 7 of Alex Tagliani. He's pulled that car along pit lane and taunts in his pit.
Alex Tagliani along pit road, but he'll be moving that car behind the wall. Alex Nagy, the crew chief, says they have a problem in the rear suspension. Damage pretty serious. It'll take some time to make repairs if they can get it done.
Well, we thought Tagliani would have a real good race here coming off his real fine Edmonton win, but the struggles continue as they try and get that second team up to speed.
As we hit the halfway mark here in the Full Throttle Energy Drink 200, we've had one leader, and it's been that man, the 22 of Scott Steckley for all 100 laps. Slowed by 1 caution for a total of 5 laps here so far. And the fastest lap, wow, the 22 of Scott Steckley put that in on lap number 4.
Well, for sure, there's Tagliani bringing his car back to the pit road, as we said. But the real thing now is we've reached halfway. The weather can come now and they can call this race complete. Now the crew chiefs have to really start considering when they're going to bring their driver to pit road and what adjustments they're going to hang on the race car to make it better.
Or do they have to? If it's green the entire way, can they go the entire distance on fuel?
Well, the horsepower we're making, it's really a crapshoot. The Chevrolets, they say, can go the distance green. The Dodges and the Ford, well, they're a little more hungry.
Well, speaking of drivers that may need a pit stop, that car there, the Castrol Syntec Dodge Avenger of DJ Kennington, he's starting to slide back just a touch. You saw the 39 of Dave Whitlock able to get around DJ, currently sitting in the 8th spot. Here's a good look at the 77 of Derek Lynch marching forward, and Doug Brown goes around in the Haldex number 10 for the 2nd time here in Mosport, and the caution flag flies.
Well, Brownie got around in the 56 of Joey McComb, got into the right rear, tore the fender off the yellow number 56.
And there he is, flagman Sean Gibbs waving the yellow flag for just the 2nd time here today. We'll take another look at what happened.
Well, we got the 10 going down in the corner, trying to get on the outside of the O, and McComb locks up the left front, gets into Dougie Brown.
Well, this gives the team a chance to go to the pits, and it's a busy one.
3, 2, 1. There you are.
Now it's time for the teams to do their work. Our points leader and race leader, Scott Steckley, the tow truck in a box Dodge along pit road. 2 right side tires, fuel and a Panhard bar adjustment. Directly behind him, the Home Hardware Chevy of Don Thompson Jr. with a tight car. The 27 of Andrew Ranger that has gained positions as well. DJ Kennington also finding his pit slot. Scott Steckley will continue to be the leader.
You're good. You're good. Clear, clear, clear. Good.
Well, listen to the communication. Not only on the racetrack do they keep talking to each other, but even on pit road. It keeps everybody safe and happy so they can talk about what the race cars are doing. We'll be back with more from Mosport after this.
Welcome back to Mosport, where the sun has now come out on the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Scott Steckley is led from the drop of the green flag.
Well, Dave, we're good to go. Fresh tires, full tank of Sunoco race fuel, and they've made their adjustments. Now it's up to the drivers.
Yeah, we're getting ready for restart number 2 here on laps 117 of 200 as the cars thunder down the front straightaway. Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the 60 coming out of the pits in 15th. A lap down and around goes Jason Hathaway.
Well, that'll tighten things up on the green flag lap and down into turn 1. No caution yet. Can he keep it going? They're waiting on him. They're waiting on him. The car's stalled.
And it looks like now Sean Gibbs is going to throw the caution flag as Jason Hathaway unable to refire the snap-on tools. Dodge Avenger, there he gets going right in front of the leaders, so he'll stay on the lead lap.
Well, cautions breed cautions as the cars tighten up. They're down into turn 1 for the first time, and somebody got together with a 3-car.
And we will get another chance to look at it. I believe it was the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock, but have another look.
Well, as they head down to the apex of turn 1, the 39 just taps the 3 and around he goes.
And a few drivers taking this opportunity to come down pit lane. There's the Haldex number 10 Dodge Avenger of Doug Brown. There's rookie contender, the AW21 of Jason White. There is J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 84, and J.R. Fitzpatrick's helmet is the subject of this week's Wheel and Insider.
We've heard of carbon fiber being used in race cars for a number of years. Now it's made the move into safety equipment. This is the helmet for J.R. Fitzpatrick, driver of the number 84 Dodge Avenger, and this helmet's made of carbon fiber. It's about 1.5 pounds lighter than the traditional helmet. It makes a big difference for the drivers during a long race. On 300 tough laps, it's easier on the neck and shoulder muscles. Driver feels better at the end of the race. Now, the safety protection doesn't come without a price. It's about $1,500 for this helmet, but well worth the investment.
Well, exactly right. Well worth the investment. What's your head worth, Dave? These race cars do get into accidents, and you want to make sure that your head is protected.
And J.R. Fitzpatrick, as we ride on board with the 84 car, not had a stellar race today. He's still sorting out some gremlins on that Dodge. Does love the horsepower, though.
Up through the gearbox, we're going back green. We got 3 Dodges and a Ford. Oh, and Andrew Ranger gets together with the 39 of Dave Whitlock.
And John Gahn in the number 12 Centennial Dodge Chrysler Jeep Dodge received this round's tow truck and a box free pass. They're on restart number 3.
Well, Dave, we got to give a tip of the hat again to the Whitlock Motorsports group. These guys have struggled all year long, and look at this, 2nd and 4th on the racetrack.
But how about the 27 of Andrew Ranger as well in the Walmart-tied Ford Fusion, riding a wave of momentum off that win in Montreal. He's done very well all day long here in Mosport.
Well, we've documented before, Billy Burns is the crew chief on that race car, and he's just a chassis guru. He knows how to get that thing to turn the hook, and he's coaching young Ranger to do a good job.
The Allied Steel Building 77 of Derek Lynch also having a pretty decent day in that Dodge Avenger, now digging on 5th place under DJ Kennington. Down the backstretch side by side, couple of Dodges. Now Kennington's going to drop right in behind that 77.
Well, you want to make sure that you didn't lose another spot. You get out in the high side here at Mosport, and you can get freight trained in a hurry.
Now it looks like the 77 of Derek Lynch taking a look underneath the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock, but for the lead, the number 9 of Mark Dilley, and up in smoke goes the 22 of Scott Steckley. Your leader and your points leader up in a puff of smoke. Up in corner number 4 as the caution flag flies.
Well, we've said every show almost, this guy's been Mr. Consistency. We said in the opening he had yet to have a did not finish, and here it is today. This will have a big points impact.
Scott Steckley did the smart thing and jumped up out of the groove to keep any oil that may be dropping out of that 22 car from in the racing groove, but looks like the team is starting to take their stuff off, and this one looks like it will be terminal.
Up off the corner, there goes the tail. It looks like, oh, the caution light was on. Doug Brown has already spun in turn 4. The 22 lifts, but the motor blew up.
And so Scott Steckley, unfortunately, won't be able to use his tow truck in a box to get out of this stuck as he sits stopped up in turn 1 and 2. He'll need to push back to the pits, and Todd standing by with his crew chief.
Looked like it was all going your way again, Greg, but problems with the 22 car. Was it the motor? And then it seemed he got tapped from behind by the 9.
No, she just let go at the end of the backstretch, and I don't know how bad it is yet, but it don't look good.
No, it doesn't look good for Scott Steckley. The team getting prepared to greet him behind the wall, guys, but his day is ending early, and that's going to shake things up in the championship. More of the Full Throttle 200 when we come back to Mosport. Welcome back to Mosport, the Full Throttle 200. Scott Steckley, points leader. He will be after the race as well, but Scott, any indication of what happened out there?
We broke a motor. We've had great luck all year with motors. It was just tough. We led the whole race. The car was awesome again, as usual. It's just too bad we're out.
Thanks, Scott.
Well, Dave, you were with me early in the day when we were talking to his crew chief, Greg Gibson, and they were contemplating a gear change from a 567 down to a 543. I wonder if they'll have that discussion now.
Absolutely. May have made a difference as we restart the Full Throttle 200 here with a new leader for the first time on lap 148. Mark Dilley pacing the field as he pulls out in front of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Now Dilley will pick up 5 bonus points for leading that lap.
Oh, Derek Lynch and the 39 of Dave Whitlock trading paint down the front stretch.
They're side by side. It looks like Lynch is going to slot back into a battle now with the 0-2 of Kerry Mix as the Beyond Digital Imaging Ford Fusion starting to march forward. He's now in fourth.
Kerry Mix got that Fusion dialed right in. He was able to go right around the hook and get by the 77. And here comes DJ Kennington. The big green machine is on the move.
Whoa.
Oh, Anthony Simone got all tore up.
We got big trouble up in 3 and 4 as we stay green. Anthony Simone in the Crown Modular, number 95, Rookie of the Year candidate, in a wreck with the 56 of Joey McComb. There you see McComb going by, and Simone will lift this one back to the pits. Heavy damage, though.
All kinds of debris on that race car. There goes the leaders by the high side. Simone's getting it right down the bottom. We're still green.
The entire field going by on the outside. Nice big wide straightaways here at Mosport allows for that as Kerry Mix making a run in the outside for third spot around the 39 of Dave Whitlock, but Whitlock will fight him off.
Kerry Mix back down to the bottom. He's got the 17 of DJ Kennington right on his bumper, and the 3 of Hathaway gets in the back of the 17.
Boy, Jason Hathaway looking racy in that Snap-on Tools number 3 as he takes a look underneath the 17 of DJ Kennington.
DJ just powered it down into the corner, was able to take the spot back. Now he's down on the bottom, trying to get back Joey McComb, the lap car on the outside, to chase down the 0-2 of Kerry Mix.
Joey McComb going to hold that 56 car well up in the upper groove. Let the leaders go by on the inside. The 95 car of Anthony Simone has finally made it back around to the infield, and John standing by there with the Crown Modular crew.
This rookie battle just can't seem to find a definite winner. Anthony Simone, as you see the front of that 95 machine all torn up. Jason White also involved in that same incident. Boy, they're having tough days here today.
And Tagliani, who is leading the rookie points battle, he's had his difficulties here today as well.
And Anthony Simone has had some motor trouble this season. You remember he missed the race in Montreal because of a motor. As a matter of fact, he's blown 3 motors over the course of this season. So we ride on board with your leader, Mark Dilley.
The sound of that Dodge horsepower hustling down the backstretch here at Mosport. Mark Dilley having a tremendous outing today.
And there is the 3 car. Jason Hathaway continues to hound the 17 of DJ Kennington out of corner 4. And we got trouble. The 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick goes around in corner number 4. Caution flag will fly once again.
Well, looks like he just got on the gas real hard and the 84 just jumped out from underneath him. This car has been just haunting young JR. He loves the horsepower, he just can't quite get the handle on it.
He's got to figure out how to get that right foot to work with the brain a little bit and get that horsepower to the ground. As you see a pretty torn up number 21 of Jason White, not from a much earlier incident here in the Full Throttle 200. But we're under caution once again as Mark Dilley continues to lead here with 158 laps in the books. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Full Throttle 200 here at Mosport Speedway. Mark Dilley, the number 9 Dodge, leads here on lap 164. Jim Lapsevich was the recipient of the tow truck in a box free pass that time around.
Up through the gearbox, we're heading for turn 1. That's the 27 Andrew Ranger stuck out on the outside. Whitlock and Dilley nose to tail trying to get a 1-2 finish here at Mosport.
And the 27 of Andrew Ranger, high, wide, and handsome in the Walmart type Ford Fusion as he battles with the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock. But the Whitlock Motorsports Dodge Avengers looking to make it 1-2 here in the Full Throttle 200.
Side by side down into turn 1. Whitlock's got that thing right down around the bottom. Down the backstretch, Gregory side by side. Here's Ford against Dodge.
Billy, 35 laps to go. It's go time.
Well, if you've been holding anything back, it's time to throw it out the window. And if you're going to lean on somebody, now's the time to do it. Let's get it done. DJ Kennington, he's in the mix now as well.
Well, the battle is heating up at the front of the field. Kennington underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. They touch in corner number 1 as Kerry Mix also hanging back, waiting to see how that battle works its way out.
You hear Whitlock just feathering that throttle down through the middle of the corner, pedal to the metal when it gets straight, and it's Dodge 1, 2, 3.
Here comes the 77 of Derek Lynch under the 12 of John Gunn. A 4-car of Don Thompson Jr. After starting on the outside of the front row, he fell back through the middle part of that race. He's charging up through this field once again.
Well, we just had to know that Don Thompson was going to communicate with his crew chief, make a pit stop, get the adjustments made, and get back in the mix here at Mosport.
Leader continues to be the number 9 Dodge of Mark Dilley as he opens a gap now on his teammate, the 39 Dodge of Dave Whitlock, as John Gott now on the high line, sliding back to 60. Ron Beauchamp Jr. is a lap down, though.
On board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. down the front stretch. You can hear the motor right up on the button.
Ron Beauchamp Jr. currently in 12th spot, the first car a lap down. So he's battling to try and get the next tow truck in a box free pass if we go caution once again.
Well, when you're just one lap down with this many laps left, you can't leave anything on the table. Just in case you get back in the lead lap, you can pick up spots, money, and points.
And you got to think, too, at Mosport Speedway, a handful of laps left to go, there's going to be a caution.
Well, for sure. Whoa, little contact there. The 17 and the 39 get together at turn 1 and 2.
And we almost had it there as DJ Kennington got into the back of the 39 of Dave Whitlock. Whitlock straightened it up as Kennington gave him a little room, but look at the gap that the 9 car has back to the 39.
Well, now the 22's out of the race. It's Mark Dilley's turn to shine. He's like checked out. He's got himself 8-9 car lengths on the second place car, which happens to be the boss.
Riding on board now with the boss, Dave Whitlock. And the Dickies Dodge, a good look back to the 17 of DJ Kennington. He got loose out of corner 4. Kennington pushing. Now with 28 laps to go here in the Full Throttle 200 as a number of cars go around.
Well, I was just going to say that the 39 car was struggling in turn 1 and 2, but he was better than DJ in 3 and 4. I think Davey just checked up a little bit, and DJ was hard on the gas, and it was just a racing deal, got together. Too bad for Whitlock, though, because he has a great race going to get punted out of the 3rd spot.
Obviously, the caution out. We'll take another look at it.
Well, you can see that Dave Whitlock went down through the bumps, got the car out of shape before DJ even got to him.
Andrew Ranger, Jason Hathaway, and Derek Lynch all involved in that separately. All drivers able to drive away.
That onboard camera there was perfect. See the Whitlock car bounced through the infield and was already out of shape when DJ got into him.
So tough break for the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock, as we'll take this chance to look at the Mopar Fast 5, the 5 fastest Mopar drivers, Dodge drivers here in the Full Throttle 200. Mark Dilley, DJ Kennington 1 and 2, Jason Hathaway and John Gott and Derek Lynch all inside the top 10.
That was a good look at all the spotters up on the top of the grandstand. They get a real good perch, so they got the best view in the house.
There is DJ Kennington. Will start alongside this man, the number 9 of Mark Dilley, as the pace car pulls off, heading down the front chute, looking for green here as we get set for a dash to the finish. Mark Dilley will lead them down into corner 1.
Up through the gearbox, everybody's hard on the gas. Hey, look at the second row on the outside. Don Thompson Jr., all the trials and tribulations he's been through today, sits 4th right now.
And Kerry Miggs in the BDI Ford Fusion got a nose to the back bumper, that 17 of DJ Kennington, but couldn't quite get by. 17 laps to go now.
Well, business is picking up, as they say. We're right down to the closing laps, and if you've got anything left, time to throw it out on the table and use it up.
We talked about it at the top of the show, how the number 4 Home Hardware Chevy of Don Thompson Jr. really has been the cream of the crop here at Mosport Speedway. He's really showing it here in the late going.
Well, we gave a call to the 4 of Don Thompson, but look right behind him, the wily veteran, Peter Gibbons, and that number 1 Chevrolet starting to show his muscle here today.
So Mark Dilley leading a single file procession at the front through the top 5 as John Gott battles with the 3 car, Jason Hathaway, for 6th spot.
But the real race is still up front. Mark Dilley having a banner day after all the bad luck they've had all year, and he's leading here at Mosport.
Give a plug, too, to the Tim Horton Chevy of Jim Lapsevich. He is running in 8th and right on the back bumper, that Centennial Dodge number 12, and here comes Lapsevich, going to make it 3 wide. And Noon goes around to the front stretch. This is going to draw the caution once again. The Interstate Batteries Pontiac, heavy damage to the back end. You can see the tire marks coming off of corner number 4.
And this will burn up a couple more laps. We're really only going to have short distance left to go when we come back. It's getting exciting. Don't go away.
You're watching round number 8 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. Mark Dilley leads the Full Throttle 200, and we just have 9 laps to go.
Down the front front stretch one more time, side by each. It's the 17 on the outside. Then we got Kerry Mix, the 02, and Don Thompson Jr. in that Home Hardware Chevrolet. But looking on the bottom, number 1, Peter Gibbons starting to get in the mix.
And the 02 of Kerry Mix alongside the Castrol Syntec number 17 of DJ Kennington. So they're going to battle side by side for second spot. Down the front chute they go.
Well, Mixie's really forced the issue here. He's making DJ work extra hard on the outside, trying to keep that spot.
All the while, Mark Dilley must be looking in his mirror thinking, that's it, boys, start battling.
Yeah, Mark Dilley loving this show for sure. There's Dave Whitlock. He's fighting his way back to the front. He had a great car. Now he's got to fight his way from the back, but he's a racer. He'll go lap for lap to make sure he gets all the points and all the positions he can.
And Ron Beauchamp Jr. picked up the tow truck in a box free pass, as we mentioned, as we ride on board with the driver of the Mopar Dodge. So he continues to try and work his way up. It's funny to see Lynch and Whitlock trying to work their way back up through this field, both involved in that spin down in corner 1.
There's Don Thompson Jr. He's taking a peek to the inside of the 17. Oh, he gets up into DJ.
And that's going to open a hole for the Home Hardware Chevy Monte Carlo of Don Thompson Jr. And he's going to plug that hole down into corner number 3.
Well, DJ Kennington's been fairly strong up off of turn 4. Let's see if that Dodge can muscle his way in. Down into the corner one more time. Little squeeze job on Donnie. Donnie's respectful. Down into the corner they go. No contact.
DJ takes it back so gentle off the corner. You can hear the throttle just being laid on as the 2 car, the 02, I should say, of Kerry Mix starts to work on the 9 of Mark Dilley. Look at how close they are on the front.
Well, there's the Dodge guys on top of the pit box. Reno and crew just cheering their boy on. This is the best they've run all year, and they're ready for a win here at Mosport.
Keep in mind the 02 of Kerry Mix fighting a bad case of the flu as well. So he's doing a wonderful job running in second and working on the leader, but there's a battle for third as well between the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. and the 17 of DJ Kennington.
And right over the 4 shoulder is the 1 of Peter Gibbons. He's in the mix as well.
And don't count any one of these drivers out as Mark Dilley just tries to hit his marks.
We were on board there with Mark for a short period of time. You can see his hands are nice and calm on the steering wheel. That car is working real well. He's just got to be able to beat Kerry off the corner every time.
The crew now relegated to the role of cheerleaders with 2 laps to go. You saw them urging on the driver of the 9 car, Mark Dilley, as Kerry Mix looks to the outside. Will he dive to the inside? Not this time.
You see Mark come off of turn 2, what they call shallow. Whoa! Kerry Mix, I was going to say, when he come off the corner shallow, that allowed the 02 of Kerry Mix to get a run at him and got to the back bumper and used it.
White flag, 1 more lap to go. Your new leader is a BDI Ford Fusion of Kerry Mix. Here comes Mark Dilley back to the inside. Ken Dilley hit him in corner 3 and 4. It's Mix up high. Dilley down low. They lean on each other. Battle. It'll be a drag race to the start-finish line, and it will be Kerry Mix by a nose, followed by the number 9 of Mark Dilley. Kennington will come home 3rd.
Well, I'll give a call to Mark Dilley there. Mark Dilley got back to the rear bumper of Mixie, give him a little nudge just to let him know he's there, but he could have very easily drove down in and give him the bumper, but he didn't. Good job, Mark Dilley.
Kerry Mix pumps his fist. We'll be back to chat with a happy camper. Welcome back to Mosport. Todd Lewis standing by in the Full Throttle 200 winner's circle.
Kerry Mix taking a drink of water, getting a towel from daughter Amanda, and climbs out of the Beyond Digital Imaging car to wave to the crowd. He accepts the checkered flag, waves it as well. We'll give Kerry a second to have a seat. Boy, what a team victory. You guys rebuilt this car this week. You're not feeling well, but you managed to steal a win late in the race.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm a little bit emotional right now. I got to dedicate this to my mom. It's just a hard deal. Just a hard deal, you know. But hats off all to my crew. My sponsors, everybody. Just a little bit emotional right now.
Understandably so. An emotional win for Kerry Mix and the 02 Beyond Digital Imaging team.
Well, racing is a tough deal. It's very emotional. They're all family, you know, and Kerry Mix is a very family-oriented guy.
As he'll celebrate in victory lane, Take a look at the top 10 here in the Full Throttle 200. Peter Gibbons coming home in the 5th spot. John Gaunt with a top 10 run in 6th. Jim Lapsevich does well to come home 8th as well. Now Todd standing by with your 2nd place finisher.
You were fast in that Dodge car, no doubt about it. Take us through the last couple of corners where it went away from you.
Well, just the car was still fast. I might have got a little tight going into 3 down there, and Kerry and I got just touched there. And once you touch and the car gets sideways, it's hard to do anything, right? I mean, me and him have raced 20 years together, and I've done that many times, and there's many more coming both ways, I'm sure. So that's part of it, That's I almost got him back, but close. But I think we would have wrecked us both if I stood on him. We both need to keep running and doing good. So I'm happy for Dodge, Leland. Everybody, Maple Lodge Farms, Wild Wing. I'm just happy for the whole team, did a good job, and, what can I say?
Great run by Mark Dilley in that number 9.
That's right, and it's great to see Mark Dilley back up on the podium. He's a great racer.
So we'll take a look at the Castrol point standings, and they have shifted a little bit. Of course, Scott Steckley came in with a 146-point cushion over Don Thompson Jr. That gap is now down to 96. DJ Kennington just a further 2 points back of Don Thompson Jr. Todd standing by with DJ.
DJ Kennington, another podium finish, another strong effort from this Castrol Dodge, and it looks like you make up a little ground today, too.
Yeah, I hate seeing that happen to anybody because we've all had our bad luck, but it's a tough one for Scott. He's had an amazing year, and I'm sure he'll be back just as fast as ever at Three Rivers. But for us, the Castrol Dodge, MPP, everybody that helps us, my guys, Dave White, Scotty, Jim Walsh, everybody that helps me out, man. My dad, it just takes a big effort to get this done, and it's a tough series. Congratulations to Kerry and Mark, and got to thank Mopar, Dodge, everybody that helps us out, and we'll go get them at Three Rivers. That's all we can do.
Thanks.
Well, DJ always smiling. Next week, he'll be the busiest man in motorsports. Three Rivers, Quebec, and in his nationwide car at Michigan International Speedway.
And we got all 200 laps in. Ceremonies finish up. The rain starting to sprinkle here at Mosport. The Full Throttle 200 has been brought to you by Castrol. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering. By Dodge. Grab life by the horns. And by Allied Steel Buildings, the leading, most trusted brand of steel building.
And that's Stephanie Conrad from Full Throttle joining the fellows on the podium.
So the oval track done here at Mosport as we head back to the final street race of the season in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. The GP3R 100 will be there from all of us at James Robinson Associates. See you next time.